Ayodeji Balogun, the CEO at AFEX Commodities, joins me live from our Abuja studios. Ayodeji, good evening. Great to have you. When we talk about general standards that are available at the commodities market, tell me a little bit about this quickly.
So one of the most important, thank you, Boston, for having me. One of the most important things that you have for commodities is standardization. You must have products being standardized first to build trust between counterparties, but also to allow for fungibility. So buyers and sellers can exchange products, goods, and services seamlessly. The Securities and Exchange, in its wisdom, has led the efforts and worked with the Standard Organization of Nigeria to then take most of the actively traded commodities in the Nigerian market and then set grading standards for them. This means that any of the exchanges that are traded, anybody buying any of these commodities from the exchange has a government-verified, accredited standards that it expects the quality of the commodities to be delivered against.
Are there best practices in commodity standards globally that you think we can adopt?
Yes, so what the work has done, and this is a work led by, with the wisdom of the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission and the leadership of the Commodities Exchange Committee, Ecosystem Committee, over about 2 years, where we've looked at several exchanges globally. We've looked at some of the traded commodities also within the continent. And then we looked at the Nigerian grading standards and some of the standards used by existing exchanges like ours at AFEX. And then we've looked at something that is a benchmark. We want to build the standards such that as we trade spot commodities, we'll be able to continue to trade them. But we also build a framework where we can then start to have derivatives contracts that are also traded on the back of these standards that we would have approved next week.
Okay, so but what will be the key focus, of the stakeholders involved in the upcoming program? Very interesting to have the Standard Organization involved in something that is purely markets, as it were. But here you're bringing S.O.N is coming into this particular arrangement with the SEC. Who else is involved?
So we will have the entire participants in the commodities market. It will start from warehouse operators that are accredited by the Securities Exchange. It would also include all the 5 registered and regulated commodities exchange in the country. I would have the members, which are going to be the food and beverage companies, the processing companies, the livestock mills, and all the people that buy the basic commodities that are used within the communities. We would have members of the capital markets, fund managers, asset managers, brokerage firms that are also exposed to some of these securities assets. Boston, as you know, all commodity assets go from being a financial instrument, but also get delivered as physical commodities for the physical end users. So we'll be having on Monday and Tuesday members according to this 2 spectrum of the market coming together, discussing, reviewing what standards organizations of Nigeria and the standard of organizations of Nigeria will then take this final feedback, working with the committee and the Securities and Exchange Council to then build a final set of standards that will be applicable to the entire market.
Yeah, interested, Ayodeji Balogun, as we wrap up, who is in charge of standards in the commodities market, and how do you get the SEC working with the Standard Organization of Nigeria to ensure that what happens at a commodities exchanges such as AFEX meet the best in terms of compliance and standards?
So the global principle is the IOSCO principle. SEC is a member of the IOSCO, which is the international standard of securities and commodities exchanges. And this gives a guidelines and a framework which we then start to build on. All exchanges, AFEX inclusive, as a capital market operator and a self-regulatory organization, also then works within these guidelines, and then the leadership and the policy laid down by SEC to then ensure that it has both the guiding standards and the grading principles that works on this exchange, but also sets out a clear dispute resolution and arbitration process in the case of disputes against the standards.
We thank you for your time and do have a great evening. Thank you very much and wish you folks all the best as you bring the best of standards into Nigeria's commodity space. Thank you so much, Ayodeji Balogun, Managing Director and CEO at AFEX Commodities Exchange Nigeria and part of the implementation committee of the New Horizon that Nigeria's SEC, standard organization, and other stakeholders are bringing to the table.